Okay, so we're about to start a new computer build. Here's our case. MagForce 100R. We've gone for the Radeon 5700 XT graphics card. Just a cheaper keyboard. We can update that later. Of course, Windows. Ryzen 5. That's the 3600. 2 terabyte hard disk drive. 500 gig SSD. Vengeance Pro, not the RAM we were after, but we didn't necessarily want the RGB, but they didn't have the other in stock, so we had to go with that. 750 watt Thermaltake Tough Power Series power supply. The new 550M motherboard with Wi-Fi and a 75 Hertz, just a fairly cheap monitor. So we'll start unboxing and putting it together. Okay, so we'll start with the unboxing of the power supply. Ooh, Thermaltake.
This is just cables.
Thermaltake bag. Yeah. It's just a protective dust cover, I think. Yeah.
There we go.
Cool. So what do we got? So this is a modular one. So all the cables have to be plugged in. Smart Zero fan. Okay, don't know what that is, but we'll
look at the manual.
We'll look in the manual. What does that say? The fan does not operate if the PSU is at low loads. Off. Silent fan operation.
Alright, that's just to keep it quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Very good. Okay, so next we'll unbox the new B550 motherboard.
Oh, that's
we had to go to another store to get that. It's the Wi-Fi antenna. Great, that's gonna
plugs into one of the sides.
Yeah.
So there's cables and stuff in the bottom of
Mm-hmm. Okay. Looks pretty special. Okay, we've got all of our USB ports. There's 6 USB ports there. And then there's 6 more I think it's supposed to have for the front.
It'll connect to one of these.
Yeah.
Yes, it'll connect to that.
There
The
you
ones
go.
that are on the front of the case will connect to that.
Yep. Cool. Alright. So next we'll unbox the Ryzen 5 3rd gen. If we can. There she is. Some instruction manuals. This will be the cooler.
Yep. You can see it's got that thermal paste on it already.
Yeah.
So don't touch that.
No. Yep.
Okay.
Very good. We'll pop that back in there for now. Okay. Be very careful here. There we go.
Yep, just give it a little wiggle from side to side, make sure it's in. Yep,
Yep.
we're good.
We're in.
And we're in.
Now we'll put the CPU fan on. That's right there and there. Yep. That's good. Always do opposite screws so that it tightens evenly. The heel seems to be biting in well. That one's not. Now it is.
Cool. We on?
Yeah. Okay, so next we're doing the Western Digital SSD. So much packaging for such a little thing. That's it. Times have changed, eh? Alright, so we've already put the little spacer on. We just pop this in. Little screw. Done. Nice and snug. Right, next we'll unbox the RAM.
Damn.
Okay. That looks pretty. Nice bit of weight to them. These have an aluminium casing too for the heat to get out nice and quickly. Okay, so we'll pop those in. Put it on one side. Nice little click. Close the clamp on that side. I'll open this thing. They don't want you to get them out, do they? That's the RAM installed. Alright, so now we will unbox the case. The case doesn't want to be unboxed. tempered glass. Two fans pre-installed in the front, one pre-installed in the back, and room for I think 2 more in the top.
Yep.
Which we won't bother with for now. We've got 2 USBs in the front, which the motherboard can more than handle. It seems to be good airflow. That's all mesh here. Yeah, looks nice. Very good. Alright, so we've just put the IO shield in and we've slid the motherboard in. It's a fairly simple process. It's all sitting where it's supposed to be, so now we'll just screw it in. There's 4 points on this one. You can add extras if you want to, but it's not really necessary unless you're, filling it up with extra graphics cards, etc. This one's over here. Yep. There we go. Another little screw. My hands are too big. Magnetized. Makes life easy. Easier anyway. Okay. One more. Over there. So there's got to be one, doesn't there? There we go. Done. Okay, so we ended up pulling the board out again and adding in a couple extra standoffs just to give it a bit more support. So that was done, and then we went ahead and plugged in all the fans and all the cables that were already in the back for the USBs. These are just the RGB cables for other fans, and that has to go into the power supply. So next thing to go in is the power supply. We have a bag full of cables here. What do we have? Lots of cables is what we have. Okay. So we'll undo all these and then we'll come back to you. Okay, so we've gone and plugged in everything we need to plug in the power supply. We've had to also undo the 4 screws underneath the drive bays to get them out so we can get the power supply in. Slide that in. Okay, line up the holes. Yep, now unfortunately we only got 3 of these little screws to hold this thing in. Nothing much we can do about it. We just have to roll with it. So we'll put, I think, 2 in the top and 1 in the bottom. And I reckon I've probably got an old system somewhere I can pinch another bolt from just to fix that up. Make sure they're nice and snug without rounding them, of course. I'm well known for doing that. Okay, we're in. Now we've got to hook all this up. So we'll tidy this up, see where it's got to go, and we'll come back to you. Alright, so we've plugged in main power here, CPU power here and main power there. Trying to keep everything tidy if we can. Now it's time to put the drive bays back in. So So we've got to move all this crap out of the way. Get the drive bays back in there. And then the fun part is going to be lining them up underneath. I'm going to have to lay it down this way. I don't like hanging the motherboard, but kind of have to, at least to get the first one in. There's the hole. There we go. Let's get this done and we'll get back to you. Alright, so we got the drive base back in. Just had to line the holes up. It's quite simple to do. Now we'll unbox or unbag the HDD, which is a 2 terabyte SEAGATE BARRACUDA. Fairly standard looking. And then these will screw into the drive bay, which is simply a squeeze tab. And slide it straight out. Okay, there will be extra small screws here. Will be those ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll screw that into the case and we'll come back to you. Right, so here's the hard drive just sitting in the slide, and it's just simply a matter of 2 screws in the side and 4 in the bottom. So we'll start with the bottom ones. This one. I always do an X pattern, so we do the opposite corners. And then in the side, one here. One in the other side. And then that's nice and secure. And it's simply just a case of sliding it like that. And then connecting the appropriate wires to the back, which we'll go ahead and do now. Alright, so we've got the hard drives in. We thought we didn't have a power cable for a moment, but we did find it. So that's all now in. Next we have the graphics card, the Radeon RX 5700 XT, the OC edition. Gigabyte. I like to put their name on things. Oh, look, Gigabyte again. It's a big piece of environmentally friendly cardboard for 2 little pieces of paper. Well done. Glad I paid extra for that. Here we go. Look at this. She weighs a bit. Beautiful. Oh, look, Gigabyte again. All right. So we will put that in. This has to come off, doesn't it? Okay, so to get the graphics card in, we need to free up some of these slots here. So we'll just see where it's going to sit roughly. Here. So we need to take out these 2. So they should just pop out. They normally just pop out. Here we go. One. It's just sort of a snap off thing. And it's catching on the screw at the bottom, but that's okay. So those are out. Let's get this bad boy in. Watch the cables. On this particular motherboard, there's a screw here to loosen, which lifts the catch up there, which is what we want. We grab this bad boy, get the cables out the way, lift this up so that can go in there, and then firmly till it clicks in, which it just did, and then this goes back down, tightens up. And I just need a screw to go in the top there to hold that. Which I will find and get back to you. Alright, so that's in. The tab's popped up, which is great. We've popped a couple of screws in the side here just to keep that firm, and then we've tightened that down again. So all that's left to do is plug it in, which I'm hoping the cables will reach. Yep. That again. So this one goes in there, and this one goes in here. Yep. Nice click, and then that one goes in here, and we should be done. Hopefully nothing's going to blow up. Alright, so now we'll unbox the AOC 24-inch, 23.8-inch monitor. The only reason I bought this monitor was because it's 75 Hertz. And I didn't want to spend a lot of money because I put all my budget into the rest of the build, and then realised I didn't have a monitor to use that was good enough from one of my old computers. So that's realistically the only reason why I bought this. I don't really know anything about the quality of it, but it's something that can be upgraded later. I think I paid $179 for it. So it's a budget monitor, but hopefully it does a good enough job. I think it's got a 5 millisecond refresh rate, which apparently is pretty good. So what do we got? We've got a little HDMI cable. Didn't expect that. And that's the power cable.
That's a display cable.
That's a display cable.
That's a display port.
That's even better.
Lucky.
Woo. Software, which we won't be able to use because we don't have an optical drive. And that's out here. That's the power module. I still can't get it out. There we go. Okay. And that's the base. That's it. Very thin, very light. Very thin. Okay. We take that off. Oh, so satisfying. And then this has what? I don't know how that works. perhaps I'll have to read the instruction manual and get back to you. Okay, so this part just screws out like that, and then the base goes on like that, and then that screws back in. A little strange setup. I don't quite know what the bit on the side's for. I'll screw that back in. And that essentially is it. So we'll take all these off. Warning, do not rip off panel film. Lucky I read that. Do not rip off panel film. This bottom piece has to come off. Yeah, that piece will come off. But there's a film on the panel. It obviously has to stay on, which is fine. So we'll get all that plugged in, and then it'll be time to see if we boot up. Okay, so everything is plugged in. We haven't switched anything on yet except the monitor. So now we get to see if it's going to post or not. Fingers crossed. Alright, that's a good sign. The RAM going. Okay.
Make sure the monitor's, say the monitor again.
Here we go.
Oh.
Beautiful. That's a successful post.
Done.